Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to season 2 of the Just Sing podcast. Um, yeah, man, it's. I hope everybody is in good spirits. I hope the new year has brought in some positive energy for you. The new year is designed this year to be a great one. If you study the numbers, it's a number 4. So that's about creation. The 4 elements. We also got a leap year, so you get an extra day to be great and shit. You feel me? It's gonna be a good year for everybody. I feel but it's only gonna be good for those who make it good. So take that into consideration and use that. You know what I mean? Don't soak in what happened in the last year or what you couldn't get accomplished in the last year or what things in the last year didn't transpire accordingly. And walk into this new motherfucker like with your head high and your chest out. You feel me? And do your thing. But yeah, just wanted to get the quick welcome back because it's been a while. But yeah, today I'm gonna go ahead and get into it because that's what y'all here for. So today I'm gonna be talking about finding love, and I mean, what a great way to kick off the year. I mean, I think a lot of people are in that position where we're segueing into that energy in that energetic space of love and abundance. But I think before we walk into it, we need to understand what love really is. You feel what I'm saying? Because I think there's a fucked up perception of love. Well, I don't think. I kind of know that there's a fucked up perception of love because there's a conditioning and there's a certain conditioning and it's a certain societal construct that has pretty much made love an illusory thing. So, but what we define as love is by that standard. You feel what I'm saying? So we operate from it. And by operating from it, that we would never be able to find happiness using love. We would never be able to find happiness in love because the love that we have internalized is designed to not bring happiness. It's designed to bring pain. It's designed to bring torment in the long run. You feel me? And I'm saying in the long run because you can have the immediate moments and the sporadic moments where love is good, love is gentle, love is kind, and all of that shit. But somehow, why is it that somehow there's some kind of disconnect? Because why is there so much damage and so much pain in love? Like, outside of toxic relationships, outside of toxic familial structures, but the conceptualization of love is so backwards that it always ends bad. You feel what I'm saying? It always ends bad. And it's perceived to end bad because there's certain factors and certain characteristics that go into what we deem love really is. And so, it's incumbent upon me as always just to give my perspective of it. And usually it's a different dynamic and a different perspective because this is just, what I've come to observe, and in my current state now, my manifestation is based off that. So, I'm actively trying to find this out. But in order to do that, I like when you're trying to manifest some shit, you gotta know what blocks it too. You feel what I'm saying? So when it comes to love, we have to first understand what it truly is. We have to also understand what it isn't. And then we have to understand if we really know what we're looking for. What are we basing it off of? Are we, basing it off of trauma bonds? Are we basing it off of genuine love? Or are we basing it off of strong feelings? You feel what I'm saying? And all of these factors have to be, counted into it when you're finding love, because it'll be in finding it that you realize that love was never lost. It was just something that you had not tapped into or acknowledged. So before I go any further, you already know, be sure to follow me on, social media at _just_sing_. Be sure to follow the podcast at the Just Sing Podcast. If you're looking to transition into the plant-based lifestyle, be sure to follow me at the Hitting It Raw program. Also, get the book Hitting It Raw, Living the Raw Plant-Based Lifestyle for Life, available wherever ebooks are sold. Also, be sure to follow me on Just Sing's merch, where you can get all of the merchandise created by me that is associated with who I am. And of course, lastly, be sure to get the book So Frail: A Reality to Black Male Masculinity and So Frail to Toxic Femininity. So when the So Frail conversations roll in, which is this next one's gonna be crazy, but these So Frail conversations roll in, you're able to rock with it and keep up with where we're going. And as always, everything is in the description of your podcast. All of my links, all of the links and the pages and everything to go follow and everything. So whatever the description of your podcast is, wherever you're listening to it, just click there and you will be directed to me. So with that being said, as always, we'll take a quick break and then we're going to come back into finding love. Finding love. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit IamJustSing.com. There, you can get all things Just Sing. You want to add the Soulfrell series to your library? Visit IamJustSing.com. You want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSing.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSing.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSing.com. You ever want to just chat with Sing about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSing.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSing.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit IamJustSing.com. All right. Welcome back. So first things first, we got to define love. So what is love? Like that, everybody's looking for it. Everybody wants it. Everybody craves it. But what is it? Like, you feel me? No. See, the thing is like, sometimes we can't use physical definitions like from dictionaries and shit because they're man-made. And love preceded the conceptualization of words. Even the words that we're using today, love preceded that shit. So how can, just my perspective, like, so how can we even use words that can, define something that can completely precede it? You feel me? So that's, my perspective of it. So in that thought process, it's like, I had to ask myself, like, what is love? You feel me? I asked people, like, what is love? Older people, the elders, peers, even younger people, children. Like, what do you think love is, right? And the thing is, it's like our perception of love and our understanding of love is not, it's wrong. So being that if you don't really understand what it is that you're trying to find, how are you going to find it? How do you even know what you're supposed to be looking for? How do you know what you're supposed to be connecting with and resonating with in order to bring love in? You feel what I'm saying? And that's like, I think we need to set the tone on that and realize what love is. And I feel this is just my personal perspective. Like, what we deem is love and what we've been calling love is not love. You feel me? It's because we operate from love as a feeling, and love isn't a feeling. Love is a power. You feel me? Love is a power. And we operate love, like how we deem love is a feeling of good behavior. You feel me? If in every aspect, like we think somebody loves us because or we think we love somebody because we're always in a good state with them, that's some messed up shit because you're trying to deny yourself the other reality to who you are, the other reality to your existence. You feel what I'm saying? Like love is a power. It's not a feeling. You dig what I'm saying? Love is a power. And by love being a power, it's not always going to be good. It's not always going to be good. That's why I love the quote, with love comes correction. You feel what I'm saying? With love comes correction, because with good feelings, you don't want to correct anybody. You feel me? You'll never try to give a person, you don't necessarily want to give a person constructive criticism, or you don't want to give them that word that's going to push them, because it's like, yo, you don't want to hear this shit. Like, I know you don't want to hear it. So it's like, in that same light, it's like, what has our perception of love really become to where in that same aspect, we can't be honest? See, people be thinking like, oh, you like lying is, people think lying is always negative. Nah, sometimes you lie to be like, where's the love in that? I know it's subtle and I know it seems like it's, it shouldn't be, it's very minute, but it segues into a greater thing. Like if you're even telling your kid that Easter Bunny is real, you're lying to him. Where's the love at? Because it's like, okay, well, that's a small lie. A lie is a lie. There should be no magnitude to it, because now small lies eventually become bigger ones, because each lie that you tell, you kind of test the waters to see how much further you can go. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to lie about this. I'm going to lie about that. And then when you start to see the feelings that are attached with the people that you're involved with, it becomes easier to lie because you only want them to have those positive feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I say that what we define as love now is based off of feeling and not power. Feel me? Because if it was based off the power, I could tell you what I need to tell you. And it's like, yo, you're not going to like this, and like, we have to come to terms with that. We have to sit and mull over certain conversations we have to have with people. We have to go through certain things before we can even come to a solid reality. You dig what I'm saying? Where we're like, I'm going to tell you the truth. Like, it should be defaulted, I'm going to tell you the truth. But now we have to consider that, oh, yo, I should lie to you right now because I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt your feelings. That's not love. That's not love. But that's catering to the feeling of, I want you to remain feeling good. Love is going to make you feel bad too. You feel me? Love is going to make you feel bad too. And not in a sense like, depression or damaging you. You feel me? I don't mean that way. But I mean that, like I said, with love comes correction. Don't nobody want to be corrected when they think they're perfect. You feel me? And that's that. And that kind of fucks up in relationships too, especially if you came out of a relationship where you did nothing wrong. And then not only that, the person hypes you up like, yo, it wasn't you, it was me. I want you back and all that. So you think that you have that level of perfection for that shit. So when you come into the relationship, your new relationship, you have that set standard that the love is always supposed to be felt. You don't need correction. Yes, you do. Everybody needs correction because we have to continually grow. You feel what I'm saying? If you're not receiving correction, you're not loved. You dig what I mean? If everything about you is perfect and everything is the standards, it remains the same, you're going to spend however long it is that you think you're going to get out of this relationship. You're going to spend that time with that person being the exact same. You're not going to be corrected because you're not going to grow. You feel what I'm saying? So with love comes correction. So as I say, even from a spiritual perspective, like a super spiritual perspective, talking about chakras and shit. You feel me? When we analyze, that's why I mentioned that love is a feeling. Love is a power, not a feeling. But we define it as a feeling. And this is why I say that. Because when we look at love as, when we understand the chakras, right? I got a podcast a while back about that. But when we look at our chakra energy, we have feelings, like those feelings that we have. They sit at the sacral chakra, but love sits at the heart chakra. That's how you know them two ain't the same thing. You feel me? It's a different frequency of energy between these two. You feel what I'm saying? So much so that between, this is dope, because between the sacral chakra and the heart chakra lies the solar plexus. And the solar plexus is where your personal identity is. You feel what I'm saying? So peep this and shit. Like, this is just the way this is the way the universe plays out. You have to know who the fuck you are before you can love something. You have to have a solid personal identity before love is involved. So I asked, did you create your personal identity first and then go find a relationship? Nah. Your personal identity, and then the feelings that you had. Like, if you don't master your feelings, you can't even have a personal identity. Like, that's some fun. That's some amazing shit. Like, the universe pretty much gave us a preset code of, what we need to do in order to achieve certain things, right? So you have to master your feelings in order to understand your personal identity. Why? Because your feelings, each one of your feelings is basically a trigger. You have good triggers and you have bad triggers. Trigger has a negative connotation to it, but you have the good triggers too. That's how you get manipulated. When a motherfucker can trigger you into to a good feeling, they can trigger you. They can trigger you and they can manipulate you and control you only if you don't have your personal identity. So that's the purpose of feelings. You get triggered with your feelings and you learn how to master those. And once the mastery of your feelings is like, okay, I know who I am because I know what makes me feel. You feel what I'm saying? I know who I am because I know what makes me feel. Then once I know what makes me feel, then I know how to love now. So again, it's in a sequence of your feelings and emotions first. Well, your feelings first, then your personal identity, then love. You feel what I'm saying? So I've dealt with people, who would say they're in love with somebody and yet they're still trying to find themselves. How? I've said, like, I've done it myself, in my younger years. I remember I was in a relationship with somebody that I was like, yo, I fell in love with her and I loved her, I loved her more than I loved myself, and whatever the case may be. And I was like, but I didn't know who I was. Like, I had become, and see, that's the fine line when it comes to personal identity. Accepting what people have put on you is not the same as knowing who you are. You dig what I'm saying? It's not the same as knowing who you are. Feel me? So when we have taken on our personal identity of what things are outside of it, we now have to try to filter love, and we still don't know what the fuck love is. You feel what I'm saying? So that's from the energy standpoint of, the sacral chakra and the solar plexus and the heart and shit. So it literally goes feelings, personal identity, then love. Like, naturally, that's our being. That's how our being is supposed to be orchestrated into understanding ourselves. You feel me? So it's like when people say, okay, well, if people connect love to feelings, then what is it? This is how I define love in today's society. You feel me? And I'm going to break it down how it is, because I'm going to go back into the sacral plexus. The sacral chakra, because the sacral chakra governs not only feelings, but also sexuality. And this is why this is very important, what I'm about to say, and why love is very blinding and confusing. Because what we define as love, in my opinion, now, what we have collectively and societally placed on love is an amalgamation of infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. If you put these 4 points, I've observed this. You know what I'm saying? And I've interacted with people, and I ain't gonna say I can prove it, because you can't prove shit, but you can justify it with enough information. You put these 4 components together and a person will feel like they're in love. The person will feel like they're in love, and they feel like they love this person, and they don't. They simply are in infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust with this person, and it all runs concurrent. So this is why it's almost second nature, to where when a person reaches a certain point with us, we feel like we can have sex with them. Like, why do those two things go hand in hand? Like, I've noticed it. Like, if you can make a person feel a certain way, you can fuck them. Because you're exploiting these 4 points, because this is what love has been defined as without actively being defined as it. You feel what I'm saying? Just look at the world. Like, just not the world, but just take a look at the experiences and the past things that have happened. Those 4 components were involved when you thought you loved somebody. You feel me? Infatuation is always there because, okay, I'm interested in you. You're attractive. You're this, you're that. But admiration and desire, those 2 points, when they come in, like, that's what filters into our quote unquote checklist. When we're involving with somebody, yo, you got to have this, that, and the third. You feel me? I want a woman who does this, that, and the third, or a woman saying, I want a man who does this, that, and the third. Once these things have been checked off or even exceeded, it turns into admiration and desire. You dig what I'm saying? And then after that, the lust segue in, because it's just like, okay, bam, I'm infatuated with you, I admire you, and I desire you. I can fuck you now. You feel me? I can fuck you now. So it's like that perspective. And, some people like, yo, that's not me. Okay, cool. That might not be you. That might not be what bags your groceries. That's cool. That's good. You feel me? But as a collective, the barrier changes. Like, it's almost like this. Because we can say that doesn't happen because we're looking at it. When we hear lust, we think lust is just the actual sexual part of lust. Nah, lust is the next level up over desire. You feel me? It's the next level up over desire. You will relinquish your own power when you desire something beyond natural desire you're lusting for, and you will relinquish power to have it. That's what lust is. So it doesn't necessarily have to be about sex, but I'm equating sex to it simply because all of these things sit at the sacral chakra. And by sitting at the sacral chakra, they also are connected to sexuality, which is connected to sex. You feel me? I use myself as an example. Like, when I was young, like, this is how I know that this shit is a reality, because every woman that I've ever had sex with in my lifetime, I tapped into those 4 components. You feel what I mean? I tapped into those 4 components. They were infatuated with me, they admired me, they desired me, and then they lusted over me. And then I was able to have sex with them. I'm not going to say it was that simple, because I don't want it to seem as if I was having sex with easy women or anything like that. But That is a part of the game that comes into it. And the faster you can make this happen, the quicker you can have sex with her. You feel me? So when we can base it, we can see this on multiple levels, because we can base it on, the perspective of being like, normal people. But then when you consider celebrities, how do they get groupies? You feel me? How do they get groupies? Like, how are you that willing that on your first time seeing that, like, you would be willing to fuck them? Like, I get it. They're like, your groupies, they're trying to trap men off, or they're like, there still has to be that level of infatuation, admiration, and desire and lust there in order to even say, okay, this person can trap me off. I'm willing to allow, you feel what I'm saying? You relinquish the power that you have over yourself. And this person can do it because now I want this person here. You feel me? That's how groupies work. That's why you can fuck a groupie on a first night. You feel what I'm saying? So now it goes into, one night stands and shit like that. Then, now we're playing with the semantics of it all. And we're like, okay, well, it's a one night stand. You had sex with somebody. Yeah. If you met somebody in the club, y'all were drunk, your inhibitions were down, and then y'all don't regret it. Don't regret a one night stand. You tapped into those 4 points. You two tapped into those 4 points by the end of the night. The liquor sped it up. Don't get me wrong. It sped it up. Not only did it speed it up, but it dropped the guard. You dig what I'm saying? It dropped the guard. So you didn't have to stay on point anymore. But all 4 of those points, they hit. They hit at the same time. Infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. You feel me? And that's how we can, have sex with people. So, and then it's like, also, so that's why it's like, we think like, when we get to that point, I love this person. Nah, you don't. Yeah, and love makes you not attached to people. True, like when love as the power, you can't attach to people, you connect to them. So when that connection is over, you can let go. But again, that's why I'm like, that segues that personal identity too. Because when in that personal identity, you say, okay, this no longer serves me. I'm done. But when you're stuck into the like, this person makes me feel a certain way, they have the control over me. That's why I have to keep going back, because you've given me something that I never had before. You're giving me something that I'm going to miss, that I fear that I'm not going to be able to find anywhere else. You dig what I mean? Because what we perceive as love is energies that sit at sacral energy from the sacral chakra. But what love really is, it sits at the heart. You feel me? And if you don't know who the fuck you are, how you loving? You feel me? Because that means that if you don't know who you are, you can't love yourself. So how can you love somebody else? That's and that's a cliche people always say. If you don't, how can you love somebody else if you don't love yourself? Why can't you love yourself? Because you don't know your personal identity. You have not come to terms with who you really are. So therefore you can't love that. And then you cannot see that in anything else. And so once you see what you are, what you're supposed to be in anybody else, like, that's how you love. You feel me? That's how you love. But that is where our societal standards gone through love with. So now, you have different forms. You have eros, you have agape. You know what I mean? You have different types of love. But when it comes to what we operate from, our first example is what comes in our home. It comes from what's in our home. And by coming from what's in our home, it gives us 2 points. Like, I'm not going to speak for everybody, because this is, it's not for everybody, but it's a consensus that happens. We grow up in families where what we think is love is really tolerance. Our first example of love is tolerance. You feel me? And that's how we love people, by how much we can tolerate from you. And how is that tolerance set? By our fucking feelings. If you start fucking my feelings up, I can't tolerate you no more. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like the love is never there. The love is never there, but there's a level of tolerance there that we are calling love, based off of being connected to those 4 points of infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. I will tolerate certain things because you appeal to these 4 points. The moment you stop appealing to those 4 points, fuck you. That's what it is. I can't fuck with you anymore. You dig what I'm saying? I can't fuck with you anymore. And so by growing up, and where, like tolerance now comes into, and I think identifying love based off of, tolerance is how we're able to, be in abusive relationships, but how we're also able to discipline our kids physically, because we can't discipline them any other way. You feel me? My tolerance is out of the window. Tolerance and patience kind of go hand in hand, but it's out of the window. So I'm going to beat you, as opposed to, showing you discipline for real. You feel me? Because we perceive that discipline is physical. It's physical assault to another fucking being. And then it's a being that's weaker than us. We don't even catch that shit. Like, you feel me? If a child, like, and this is something I talked about this in So Frail too, about mama's initial feminization. Like, I get it and I respect it all day long, because I get why you have to do this, especially if you're a single mother. You got to assert that force because your son is going to get big. But you feel me? Imagine, like, I get to where it's like, because when we're used to, our tolerance, and then when we run out of tolerance with a kid, we whoop them. When they're a kid, it's different. Like, imagine and then it's like, yo, you get 15 and 16 years old. And, oh, you look like you want to hit me. Yeah, this is almost 16 years of ass whoopings that I was never strong enough to retaliate with. Think about that shit. I'm not condoning it. I'm not telling nobody. I'm not saying anybody that, yo, your child deserves to hit you, or you should, like, no, you really need to think about what the fuck has been built up. You feel what I'm saying? Imagine, okay, your child comes home from school for fighting for the first time ever. And you like, what was you fighting for? Well, this guy had been picking on me for the whole school year and I got tired of it. And you will incur, oh, yes, you fight back. What's the difference between a parent? See, take the titles away and let's look at two human beings. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, as long as I'm operating from a level that is tolerable for you, you love me. But once I exceed that tolerance, this is how it happens. And in order for me to maintain that love, I now really have to equate pain to being love. Because it's like, yo, this is what it is. Like, your tolerance ran out. You feel me? As long as I can keep myself tolerable to you, I know that you'll love me. You feel what I'm saying? And that same thing works the other way. If I run out of tolerance for you, I no longer love you anymore. You feel me? I no longer love you anymore. And that's where it is. Like, I've started to observe this, like, with women that I would talk to, and they were like, yo, you have so much patience with me. Well, I don't tolerate you. Like, my intent is not to tolerate you. But that's a telltale sign, because it's like, that's what she's crying out for. When women get to that point where they're like, yo, you have patience with me. I don't even think we catch how unconscious it really is. How unconscious it really is to say that somebody has patience with you, meaning that every bit of love that you've ever had was connected to impatience. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what you look for. You feel me? But again, that now makes it so much easier. Let's take it back. So when you have the tolerance, that makes it so much easier to go into operating from the perspective of love as it sits at the sacral chakra of infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. You feel what I'm saying? If you exceed my expectations for what my standard is, I got you. You feel me? Like, you'll have me for forever almost. I was 17 or 16, 15 maybe, whatever it is. I was a teenager and I was talking to this girl, and you feel me? I'm flirting. So I was like, yo, what's up, beautiful? And I got her number off the strength of that, but I kind of had her mind in my hand, because as we talked, she was like, no man has ever called me beautiful before. You feel what I'm saying? I exceeded that. Like, so I tapped into the infatuation. I tapped into the admiration and desire. Why? Because at this point, you're telling me that I'm beautiful. I desire you now because you make me feel wanted. Beautiful is just it's a word, but at the same time, it's like the word beautiful has so much power to women because of that. You feel what I'm saying? So not only when you say it, when you can make a woman feel beautiful, that's there. But again, now it's all life lessons, yo. If the personal identity wasn't there to where she felt she was beautiful anyway, it's going to fall down into the sacral. You feel me? But if she has that personal identity, it's like, yo, I know I'm fucking beautiful. The fuck? That's not arrogant. That's not conceited. You feel what I'm saying? That's a personal identity, and I know the fuck I am. So now you have to love me from the power. You dig what I'm saying? It has to be from the power. You feel me? So you can't tell me about me. You feel me? I use beautiful because now I can use this aspect, from the men's perspective. An intelligent man who knows that he's intelligent and can say it, like, you can't flex me with that shit. Like this whole now I'm gonna break down two different words. Okay, you have sapiosexuals and you have sapiophiles. People got to stop manipulating the two. Stop trying to use the word sapiosexual as a meaning for sapiophile. Keep the shit separate. One wants to fuck smart people. The other one loves knowledge and information. So a sapiophile loves intelligent people. Sapiosexuals want to fuck smart people, right? Pay attention to that. The motherfucker like, oh, I'm a sapiosexual. Yes, they just want to fuck smart people, right? So it's like, I've dealt with women who were sapiosexuals and it's on some shit. It's literally the same shit, to where a man knows that a woman, requires, like, our masculine essence. Naturally, our masculine essence craves, it operates from intelligence. You feel what I mean? As a masculine man. So when we're encouraged to be intelligent, we're encouraged to use that aspect of our mind, and we're promoting, yo, you're so smart. Like, that's like calling us beautiful. Like, women be thinking like, yo, you call me beautiful, I call you handsome. Okay, cool. That's cool. But at the same time, calling a man intelligent hits him a lot more than if you called him handsome. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, fuck, like, it's handsome. Fuck. It doesn't hit the same way, because beautiful is more associated with feeling. Intelligence is more associated with knowing. So when you tell a man, oh, he's like, it's going to be the same. It's going to have that same effect. You feel what I'm saying? So now go back to the conceited part, right? So a woman who, you're like, oh, yo, you a stuck up ass bitch. Like dudes will say that to a woman when she knows she beautiful. They'll use a stuck up ass bitch. Oh, because you can't keep her in the realm of admiration, infatuation, desire, and lust. This shit is potent, bro. Like, love is powerful. You feel me? But at the same time, that now is tapped in from the men's perspective. Oh, you're intelligent. You so smart. You this and that. Like, that shit don't bother me because I know. Now, to the average motherfucker, yes, that is a very arrogant statement, but you don't know my standard. You feel what I'm saying? You're making that statement probably off your own intelligence level, not my IQ, not my component. I'm an intelligent motherfucker, and I know that shit. My personal identity is rooted in that, so that can't be used to finesse me. So the point that I was going back to was the sapiosexual thing. You feel what I'm saying? I've had women who thought that just continually telling me, oh, yo, you're so intelligent, you're so smart, I can sit and listen to you all day, like that was really going to do something. No, it's not, because I know this shit. You feel me? I'm not doing this shit for the attention. You dig what I'm saying? I'm not doing it to be admired or desired. I'm doing it because I am. Like, those two words are powerful. I am. Like, that's why I do this shit. Like, when a woman is beautiful, like, I am. Like, when she knows that I am, she affirms that shit. She don't care. She walked with her hair high when she walked into the room. So that aspect of knowing that personal identity forces you to make, like, you're automatically going to give off the essence and the energy for people to love you and not operate from infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. So when people cannot tap into that within you, that's when you're the problem. That's when you're the problem. Why? Because they know, maybe it's a subconscious thing, but they begin to know that, oh, yo, you're not going to be able to tolerate me. You're not going to be able to tolerate me for long because you got standards and shit. You feel me? It's levels to your shit. You got a power over you, and I can't manipulate that. And we don't even know that we're manipulating it because it's just the way the norm is. You feel me? As long as I'm doing good, as long as I'm tolerable to you, I know that you'll love me. You know what I mean? So I will do the things that appeal to your feelings, and only the good feelings. But if I appeal to the bad feelings, I know that it's something negative. You dig what I mean? I know that it's something negative. And that's how love is now being moved. And this right here is kind of like, I don't know. I catch flack for this. I know I do. Because I don't operate under unconditional. I feel like, personally, unconditional love is stupid. Personally, that's how I feel. Right? And I'm going to tell you why I feel this way. For me, it's basic logic. Everybody has been operating from unconditional love for the past 1,000 years. And unconditional love has not gotten us any further. Right? Maybe it's time to put conditions to the shit. And if you put conditions to your love, maybe people will honor you a lot more. See, the thing about it, and again, Now this ties into it because when you add I can't even think of the word that I'm looking for. When you add the point of unconditional love to tolerance, oh, that epitomizes you give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile. All right. Look. The markets are not a difficult place to understand. All right. You just have to know what you're looking at. And there's 5 things that you need to see before you can make any market entry. First, you need a pocket so you can know which direction the market is going in. Second, you need a pullback so you can get the better price. Third, you need a battlefield so you can see when that market movement is slowing down. Fourth, you need the upper hand so you can see when the market reactivates. And last, you need a final push so you can see the exact moment when it's time to go with the direction you are already moving in. Okay? Of course, there's so much more that has to go into that, and it's not as cut and dry as that. But those are things that I teach in my Mastering the Market course. So if you would like to learn more, please visit IamJustSing.com and check out the Mastering the Market course today. Although it is directed and specialized for Forex, all of the skills, I crafted them to be transferable to any market that you're looking at. So again, visit IamJustSing.com and check out the Mastering the Market course today if you are truly looking to master the market. Oh yeah, and don't forget, while I still got you, you can use promo code QUARANTINE to save over 90% off of the enrollment of the full price of the course. That is QUARANTINE, QUARANTEEN. Because now I'm going to exceed the tolerance every time, because that's what we're building love under. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like unconditional love, the conceptualization of unconditional love, it kind of had to go hand in hand with tolerance. Because like there's certain shit that I'm going to allow you to do because quote unquote, I love you. Fuck no. Because at that point, if I'm giving you unconditional love and you fucking me over, that means my personal identity is fucked up because I don't even give a fuck enough about myself to say you tripping. You feel me? That's some other shit. Like the first time I got cheated on in a relationship, you feel me? The shit broke me, but I was on the unconditional tolerance shit. I extended my tolerance to this person to try to stay with this person because it was unconditional love. Fuck no, that's stupid as shit. I call myself stupid for that all the time. It took me about 4 months to wake up because there was other dynamics that played into it that was kind of like, bruh, leave her alone. Bruh, leave her alone. It's like, no, because I love her and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Like, we do stupid shit like that. But that comes without having that personal identity to know, oh, you extended the, like, I'm extending my tolerance for you because my love is unconditional. So you're going to continue to do dumb shit. There's been women who their man has been cheating on them, right? First time he cheat, oh, you better not do this shit again. I'm going to make a joint Facebook page and all that shit. Like, it don't matter if he's going to cheat on you, he's going to cheat on you again. But the first time you let that shit happen, shut the fuck up anytime after that. I love my sister to life. I got the utmost respect for y'all. But this right here is coming from a brother's perspective. You feel me? I'm talking to you as if you're my sister right now. If you gonna let the motherfucker cheat on you and stay there, shut the fuck up, period, going forward. You made that choice. That's the bed you made, you lay in it. Now, granted, oh, he said he would never do it again. He wasn't supposed to do it the fucking first time. Same shit, vice versa, even with women. She wasn't supposed to fuck up the first time, bruh. Fuck it. Let it go. But you extend your tolerance. Why? Because you think it's love. Because they tap into the infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. Oh, she still looks good on my arm. Oh, she still made me laugh from time to time. Oh, he's still a good man at this. Like, no, that personal identity, your personal identity is fucked up to where you can't even see beyond what the fuck is really happening to you. So then when the motherfucker bring you back a disease, they're like, is that where your tolerance dies? When a person has a baby by somebody else, is that where your tolerance finally dies? Or does it continue to extend because it's unconditional? Oh, we'll just have to figure out a way to make it work. Now, granted, if y'all were broken up or whatever, they had a baby outside and y'all came back together, that's not what I'm talking about. But you feel me? When shit like that starts to pop off and people are getting pregnant and having babies outside of relationships, or they're bringing back diseases and shit, come on. You're extending your tolerance because you have unconditional love. Because some motherfucker told you that this is how relationships are supposed to be. No, the fuck, they're not. They're like that when you have no personal identity. Because it's like, I'm not putting myself in no fucked up situation like that for you. Hell no. Because at that point, they're playing with your life. For real, for real. Not only are they playing with it, they don't give a fuck about it. Just think about this. You're in a relationship with somebody who brings you back a disease. You're in a relationship with somebody who has a baby by somebody else. They use no protection. How much of your life can they value if they didn't even value their own life enough to go cover up why they cheated on you? Not only did they cheat, they didn't give a fuck about their own condition, their own self-health, and none of that shit. But we loving motherfuckers with no personal identity. I'm sorry, like, I'm not sorry at all. If I'm in a situation, you feel me? Like that's how I was able to become celibate, and the celibacy was able to stick, and it wasn't even, now granted, selectively celibate. If I feel the need, it is what it is. But that is like, that shit has to be proven. You can't hit me with the infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. Not anymore. Not anymore. I ain't even gonna front. Like, that's why I ended up having sex with as many women as I did, simply because of the past. Because of that. They tapped into that with me. I tapped into that with them. We became fuck buddies. You feel me? And it was simple as that. And then if the sex wasn't good, okay, now it taps into the tolerance part. You feel me? Like, I don't know why. It's like, that's the icing on the cake and shit. You feel me? Motherfuckers, if the sex is good, fuck. The thing about sex is this. Sex is energy, right? So if you're only operating from the physical perspective, which means you're stuck on your sacral chakra, if you're operating from that perspective, that's what makes it feel good, the physical aspect. You feel what I'm saying? However, if you're at a higher perspective, the energy alone is going to make the sex good. You feel what I'm saying? It takes it to a whole different realm, a whole different level. So not only is it going to be good physically, it's going to be mentally and spiritually too. Different conversation for another day. The point that I was making was about tolerance and unconditional love. Let me get back on track. So when we set these relationships up and we extend our tolerance, like, this is why motherfuckers do certain shit. So sometimes it's like, bam, when it comes to the tolerance of a relationship, and, sometimes we talk about like this toxic shit. That was all 2019. Toxic relationship. Like, I had to, capitalize on the shit and call my second book Toxic Femininity. It just made sense because I'm like, this is what y'all talk about. You feel me? Like, so it's like, it's in everybody's head. The word toxic is in everybody's head. So it's like, when we look at these toxic relationships, right? At what point did it become toxic? You feel me? It becomes toxic. The toxic relationship becomes toxic the moment your tolerance has been superseded. But at the same time, you don't give a fuck about that. Because this person, you have your faults, you have your wrongs and shit. Like, red flags are red flags for a reason. That first red flag should mean that, okay, I can't tolerate this shit anymore. Now, we cut off other people. Like, we say, oh, I really love this person because I see past your faults. I see past your flaws. That's some fucked up, I don't know who started shit, but that's a fucked up perspective, because if I love you, I don't see past your flaws. Now, if I tolerate you, I see past the flaws. However, if I love you, you don't have any. Again, feeling versus power. I will see past your flaws when I'm tolerating you. You feel me? But then if I really love you, you don't have any. You can't have any. Because I accept the entire totality of the being. If I don't accept the total, like, when I'm tolerating you and, certain things I'm looking past, I don't accept you as a being. I don't accept your whole being. I cannot love you fully. I cannot love you if I'm looking past shit. That means that shit bothers me, but it doesn't bother me to the point where I'm not willing to leave you alone. You feel me? That's not love, that's tolerance. That's tolerance, and it's bullshit. You feel me? So the moment the tolerance is exceeded, you feel me? That's what it is. So it's like, we get in, I look past this for you. I see past and that makes us then look at our own selves like that. Oh, this person got to see past my flaws. I'm a very modest person, but I've accepted my personal identity. I don't have flaws. I can't say that I come from a perfect creator, whatever that creator may be, whatever you choose to call yours, whatever, I cannot say that I was created perfectly in the image of a perfect being, but I'm imperfect like a motherfucker. Now, granted, to somebody else's standard, cool. You may think that, okay, cool. But me, I have no flaws because each one of these things is the totality of my being, and I do great shit on a regular basis. You feel me? Quote unquote flaws and all. So they can't be flaws if they help lead to great shit. That's how I look at it. That's my perspective. But again, that's solar plexus shit. You feel me? But that makes the love different. You feel me? Because if you're looking to see past the flaws, you're hoping somebody else sees past yours. You feel me? And not only see past yours, not remind you of them. That's why it's like when motherfuckers, I hate that shit when motherfuckers be like, let me stop talking before I say something I'm going to regret. Nah, this is what you feel. And this is what you really think of that person. Let's be honest. And goes back to with love comes correction. With love should come honesty. You feel me? The shit that I say when I'm angry, that's the truth. That's the truth. But it's like, I don't say it, but I allow myself to say it when I'm angry simply because it's like, I could justify it. Well, you made me mad. You know what I'm saying? I said something I ain't regret. I didn't mean to go there, blah, 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 blah. Whatever the case may be. But that's a reality. You feel me? That person really feels, because that's something, the shit that a motherfucker says, okay, they'll say, I love you, or whatever the case may be. And then the shit that they're willing to look past, let the emotions get involved. They'll stop. Like anytime a negative emotion is attached to what you deem as a flaw, that person's going to exploit that shit in you when they get upset. You dig what I mean? Like that's what we attach to. We attach to what makes us feel good or feel bad about a situation. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the fucked up part about relationship. We're not connecting from love because we're not seeing it as a power. You feel me? We're seeing it as infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. This shit is potent. You feel what I'm saying? This shit is potent. That's why it's like when you look at your good friends, like y'all can talk to each other and say a certain thing. Like my homies, man, my best friends from undergrad, it's like we talk to each other and we got that love for real. With love comes correction. If I'm off my shit, yo, Ray, you tripping. You off your shit. You feel me? I'm not surrounded by yes people. I'm not surrounded by yes people. But again, that's right there is where people are like, yo, these people don't love you. These people are infatuated with you, admire. And this doesn't necessarily have to be, for relationship's sake. This is your friendships too. When you in a circle with yes people, y'all are operating from tolerance. And they know I'm not fucking up this circle because, you feel me? That's some real shit. Your whole circle could be a group of tolerating motherfuckers and shit. And y'all ain't even real friends. Y'all are friendly because you're tolerable. Because I'm going to be able to deal with this person for whatever. I can go to the club with this person, or I can feel a certain way. Again, where's the personal identity in that connection? You feel me? Where's the personal identity in that connection? Because then the tolerance has to come in. And then it's like, now I'm giving like I had a homie, I was like 14. I was 14. Yeah, I was 14. And I had a homie, he smashed this girl that I was talking to. I'm like, damn, bro, like, again, it was out of tolerance. Like, there was no love there between us. It was the love based off of who we were. Like, you know what I'm saying? That still stands. The infatuation, like, that was my homie. That was like, yo, I know that if some shit popped off, that was my right-hand man outside of that shit. Outside of women. Because for that aspect, it was competition. You feel what I'm saying? But outside of that was my right-hand man. You feel me? If I had to go fight somebody, like he was the first person I would call. If he had to go, I'm the first person he calls. That's how it went. You feel what I'm saying? But sometimes we blur the lines because relationships have different dynamics to them. But, he, you know what I'm saying? He knocked off a woman that I was involving myself with. I mean, it was a girl because we 14, 15 years old. But when the tables turned and then it came back to him, I'm like, yo, you can't get mad at that shit. You did it to me. You feel me? But the tolerance it's like, yo, what's the point to where we can't be friends anymore? Because now we're going to push that shit. It's like, yo, I'm going to, have sex with a woman that okay, cool. I'm going to do the same shit to you. But then I took it one step further and, I was young. So, I was more assholish for the shit. But I took it one step further and it was actually somebody he had fell in love with. Like, okay. But it was like, we didn't stop being friends because we just extended tolerance. So now we know the playground. Now we know what we playing with. That's some toxic shit. You can't have a good friendship like that. It's like, yo, you'll do me like that. And, you know, we young, you know, we got our lives ahead of us, whatever the case, that's old. It is. You know, it becomes more serious the older you get. But all of that is based off of our relationships from being, you know, tolerable. You know, you still gonna be my homie because I could tolerate this. You know, girl codes, guy codes, or whatever it is. Those codes still have tolerance in them. You feel me? And that's where, you know, that's where it all comes in. Like, you're still finding yourself. You're still trying to find senses of belonging and shit like that. And you think you love somebody? Nah, you're going to be involved with somebody who makes you feel tolerable. Who makes you, because like I said, it comes within our upbringing. Were we ever really loved as children, or were we tolerated? That's not here nor there. That's not going towards anybody's parenting or anything like, but sit and think about it. Because then you have to look at the way the way children are being raised. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing to look at yours, but it's like, if you see the cycle repeat, you're like, damn, that was, you know. Imagine if, you know, this is something that I've, you know, come across with women who, you know, at first they would tell me, oh, I'm shy, I'm quiet, I don't know. That's not the case. They just never had a voice in their past relationship. Or growing up, or however many relationships they were in. They're like, yo, I'm really just a quiet person. You're not. And I know they're not. They're like, I hate this shit. This shit get on my fucking nerves. They be like, I'm really not that quiet, but it's like, I'm really a quiet person, but I talk when I'm around people I know I'm comfortable. Okay. That means you're not a quiet person, but it also means you're not able to be yourself at all times. You feel what I'm saying? So your personal identity is off, in my perspective. So you need to tap into your personal identity a little bit more, because to tap into that, well, being okay, like, cool. Like, I get, you know, people don't even get this about me sometimes. I tell them I'm an introvert. They're like, you ain't no damn introvert. Yes, the fuck I am. I'm an introvert. I'm not antisocial. I'm an introvert. I stick to my motherfucking self. When I'm in the right conversation, in the right context, yes, I speak, and I know that. But you feel me? And when it's time for me too. So it's like, I'm not playing that role of, okay, I'm shy, I'm quiet. And then when it comes out, no, chances are I don't fuck with you. That's why I don't say nothing to you. And that's perfectly fine. You feel me? That's perfectly fine. But that comes with that aspect. So the purpose that I was saying was, you know, talking to women, it's like, then when we get close and it's like, bam, I hear their real laugh. You feel me? I hear them talk about shit that is just like out of this world. It's beautiful to me. But it's like, they're like, I don't get to talk about stuff like this much. Why? You know, it's always, well, the people that I, you know, want to talk, they don't get it. Well, how is that relationship built? So there's a tolerance there. We're friends within the confines of this, or the dynamics of that. That's bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? By the real laugh, I mean the real goofy, ugly, nasty laugh, the shit that nobody really wants to let anybody hear. We all got one. You feel me? We all got that laugh that is like, you know, how many people have really heard that laugh? So how many people have really loved you, or you really loved in the grand scheme of your life? You feel me? I got family members that know less about me, but have known me longer than some of the friends that I have. Why? You know what I'm saying? It's like, but it comes from the tolerance. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the upbringing and shit, it comes from the tolerance. We all have that in some way, shape, or form. And that's where we go into the world when we're trying to look for love. I want to find love. We need to rephrase that. We're not even finding love. I'm finding tolerance. I'm going to find where I feel tolerated, because that's what I'm used to. When I walk through this motherfucking world, I'm going to find what I feel tolerated with. What tolerates me? You feel what I'm saying? That's why it's like, it's very, very poisonous. I'm going to use this example. You know, I'm not trying to be dark with it, but this is just how it has to come out. Like, when a woman is in an abusive relationship and she says, I shouldn't have made him mad, that means she's used to love being identified as tolerance. I exceeded, like, you can no longer tolerate me in this point. You stopped tolerating what I had, and that made you hit me. So now, let's take it back. I got to bring it down to where I have to operate from a perspective where whatever I do doesn't exceed the tolerance for me to get hit. You feel me? Rest his soul, Nipsey Hussle said, he said, a man that's really fucking with you, I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to paraphrase. I don't want y'all to slay me and shit. But a man that's really into a woman, he's not going to hurt her because it'll hurt him too much. That comes from a level of personal identity to love. See, true love, what love is when it's a power, after you have your personal identity, you see yourself in the other person. It becomes a reflection. Only people that are not stable mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually can bring harm to themselves. No healthy person can bring harm to themselves intentionally. You cannot intentionally bring harm to yourself. And if you see your person, if you see your significant other, if you see who you with as yourself, you can't hurt them either. You dig what I'm saying? I hope that's making sense. But when we are not operating from love, when we're operating from the sacral energy shit, infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust, all of that shit goes out of the window. Because when you no longer, like, it sucks, and I got to use us as an example because they're like, yo, men are like a pit bull with that little pink thing hanging out. No, that's not the case. The reason why we out here fucking everything and doing what we do was these 4 points are always tapped into for us. Infatuation's always going to be there. If she got a fat ass and she got some nice titties and a slim waist or whatnot, it's always going to be there. That bit of seduction is always there for us. Period. It's always there for us. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if she got something going for her, the admiration that, like, I don't mean funny shit. Some of us, she ain't got to have shit going for her. That infatuation is enough to fuck up everything. You feel me? But that's the lack of the personal identity. It doesn't happen until we get older, you know, and it's like we slow down and shit, but we're conditioned to only operate from these 4 points, right? Not only that, we're conditioned to tap into those 4 points. And also, it's not even so much as, you know, the fact that we're actively out here hoeing, but it's on a regular basis. Women are going to do this to us. You know, women are going to do this to us. Like, women say, well, I got men that throw stuff at me too. I got men that come on to me too. And I just don't act on it. Y'all can know. You're right. We don't have to act on it, but we're also not held accountable for it if we do. You feel me? If a woman cheat on a man, more times than not, you feel me? More times than not, it does happen. I'm a victim of the shit from the beginning. I got cheated on and wanted to stay. Because it's like, yo, I put it into whatever the case may be. Sometimes it happens. But for the majority, if a woman cheats on a man, she's done. She's done. She better think wisely and say, okay, I'm done. Like, because chances are of him taking it back, like, nah. Because we don't deal with emotion the same way. You feel what I'm saying? But on the other side of that, a man can cheat multiple times on a woman because that tolerance is there. You feel me? I've learned how to do that shit. Like, and like, I don't play with me. Don't play with me. But like that tolerance there, like for us as men, once these 4 points are tapped into, and women are tapped into these points, all they gotta do is stroke our ego a little bit. You feel what I'm saying? Tell a man he's smart. Tell a man he's intelligent. Like, I'm dead ass serious. Like, I'm not trying to be funny and shit like that, yo. Like, that's our equivalent of being beautiful. Especially us as black men. Like, that's our equivalent. You feel what I'm saying? This is why it's like when we start going up in academia and shit like that, motherfuckers, like, our egos get strong because we think we smart because we got degrees and shit. You ain't smart. You well trained, motherfucker. Whatever. But that shit is what taps into us. The intelligence factor. Because when our minds are on point, because naturally as men, that's what it is. You feel me? But the society structure is about to be. So a man that may have been called dumb all his life, or a man that has grown up, men that have came up in the streets a lot, where it's like, that wasn't even cool to be smart. Now I'm getting it like a motherfucker. Like, shit. That's like, that shit taps into us. And it's the same thing with women who have never been, like, a woman can, you know, and this is the thing. When people say, well, women say, well, I can resist it. Why can't y'all? Because we're tapped into two totally different things. Women seduce differently than men seduce. If I'm with a woman who's always calling me dumb or always trying to make me feel like I'm not smart, why do y'all be thinking like, it's like when we look at these relationships and shit and motherfuckers be like, well, the man cheated. The man cheated on a woman who didn't compare. Cheated with the woman who didn't compare to the woman he was with. Why? Why? Because he probably felt more intelligent, or he probably felt a certain way that he wasn't able to feel there. Just the same shit. When a woman cheats on a man, dude, you deprived her emotionally. And the next man that was able to come in and slide into that, he exploited that emotionally. You feel me? She was infatuated. Feel me? Like I want to, let me say this. Like, there's no such thing as not being infatuated or attracted to anybody if you're in a relationship. I don't give a fuck. Like, let's stop that shit. I don't automatically stop being attracted to women because I'm in a relationship. No, no, no. Women are still going to be beautiful to me. Women are still going to draw my attention. I'm still going to look like we're still going to look just the same as y'all are still going to look. You feel what I'm saying? It's if you act on it or not. That's a whole different dynamic. But we need to get out of that shit. Like, you can't be attracted to this person anymore. But see, as men, what happens is when we deprive our women of that, that's where, and like I said, when it comes from the tolerance and you come from that sacral energy, infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust, your relationship was built on that. You got married to a motherfucker you didn't even love. Really, really. You feel me? But when you are in that and the woman says, oh, you don't make me feel beautiful anymore. I don't feel this anymore. I don't feel that anymore. I feel like, do you see all of the feelings involved? There was never a power there. That relationship was never established off of a power. So when this other man comes in, he starts to make her feel again. Her work husband, her work hubby, when he starts to make her feel again, it's just a matter of time before a fucking affair can happen. Because he's now tapping into those 4 points. Don't let him be in a position where he may stand up for her at work, or he teaches her some shit, or he's like, you feel me? That admiration and that desire then kicks in, buddy. And then after that, the lust is really the defining factor. If you not getting it, then, it's easy to happen. Like, people be like, yo, I don't see how it just, like, this is the only way that I can explain when people say, I cheated on accident. You don't really cheat on accident. The seduction happened, but all of that shit occurs because this person tapped into those 4 points and made you feel a certain way. Everybody that's new for you is going to make you feel good. Every new encounter that you have is because it's fresh, because it's new. Nobody shows their bad behavior from the beginning. So we're all friendly from the jump, naturally, because you don't want to show off in those. Me personally, I get called an asshole a lot sometimes. I try to be good all the time, but I also have to be my authentic self. If you say some stupid shit and this is my first time meeting you, that's some stupid shit. The fuck? I'm not going to, no, that's stupid. Like, that's, you feel me? But a lot of times we can't be as honest as that because it's like, oh, that's rude. No, it's not. That's honest. But we don't hear it enough. We don't hear honesty enough. You dig what I'm saying? So the point that I'm saying is that once that is tapped into, the affair happens. The affair happens. The cheating happens. All of that shit happens because those 4 points are catered to. You feel me? I've dealt with women who I've tapped into those 3 points. And this was when I had transitioned into my celibacy phase, and I was like, all right, look, I can't just be out here like that, bro. I ain't doing that shit no more. You feel me? But I tapped into the first 3 points. But because I wouldn't have sex with them, they felt like something was wrong with me. Oh, you must be talking to another woman. Oh, you must be, no. I'm not fucking with you on that type time because my personal identity won't allow me to. I'm not going to do that to you. Because now I know what you're operating from. Because then I'm going to fuck you and I ain't going to want you no more. Or vice versa. You feel what I'm saying? And that is how it's fucked up, but that's how lifelong relationships are built. No wonder, even though that relationship lasted 50, 60 years that we supposedly clap over for our grandparents and shit, was that really love or did they just tolerate each other for that long? And they was able to tolerate each other through the prime, through the peaks. And that's why they look so miserable and so drab right now. That's why they're so fucking boring and they don't do shit with each other anymore. They just existed. Because they never loved each other. They tolerated each other and they was able to push through that because they had that unconditional love. They had all of these different things that fucked up the reality. All because everything was established off of infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. And everybody was calling it love. Oh, I love this person because they make me feel this way. I love this person because they make me feel like that. You feel me? It's not about feeling. It's about the power. And as I said before, with love comes correction. You're not going to correct somebody that you're making feel good. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. You feel me? That's why, low key, that's why people hate woke people. You feel me? Because that love comes with correction. They're going to tell you, yo, this is some bullshit. You feel me? This ain't, oh, nah, whatever. Here y'all come. You so smart. You just like, the fuck? That's not here nor there. But all of that shit is tied into and wrapped into that differentiation. So when you trying to find love, ask yourself, are you really trying to find love? Or are you trying to find tolerance? Tolerance that you once felt when you were a kid. Tolerance that you once felt in previous relationships. Because then I got to ask you, do you know who you are? If you don't know who you are and you're still on the quest, if you can actively admit this shit, I don't know who I am. I'm still actively looking for myself, or I'm trying to find myself and figure out what the hell I do in this cosmic mixing. How the fuck are you loving anybody? You feel me? How are you loving anybody? Really think about that shit. Because then you're going to be able to find your opposite. You feel me? You're going to be able to find your opposite. So is love ever really lost? No, it's not. It's not. It's always here, but we just never learn what it was because we're used and conditioned to tolerating each other, tolerating the things around us. When it's no longer tolerable, we're done with it. We dispose of it. You feel me? That's why so many people leave relationships feeling like damaged goods. Because when it's all said and done, I'm going to remind you that, see, all the shit that I put up with you, and I'm going to bring up all your flaws again when it's over and put them right back in your motherfucking face. Then I'm going to fuck you up for the next person. You're going to be damaged goods going to the next person. Why? Because we operate in relationships from tolerance. If I do not tolerate you anymore, I don't give a fuck what I say to you. I don't give a fuck how you feel when it's over. And with that being said, I do whatever it is that I want to do, say how I want to say, and say what I want to say, how I want to say it. And I don't care because now we're done. You feel me? Oh, you're saying things you're going to regret. No, I'm saying the shit that I meant. I'm saying the shit that I've always meant, that I've always thought throughout the duration of this shit. But I'm no longer tolerable of this relationship anymore. I'm no longer tolerable of the situation. I don't give a fuck if it ends. So much so that I will make it end. Whether that be by actively breaking up with you, cheating on you, or whatever the case may be. Now you're walking around with a broken heart. No, you're not walking around with a broken heart. You're walking around with damaged feelings. It feels like a broken heart because but there was never love there. And because there was never love there and it was all operated from tolerance, everything was equated to a feeling. And by being equated to a feeling, your feeling's going to remain hurt. And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes Merch and get your merchandise right now. Yeah, I know it kind of got graphic. I know that is not what we thought this was going to be about. But it's real though. Like it's real. Like when we look at love, that's what we're dealing with. That's why relationships are trash. That's why they don't work. Like our generation, whether they're calling us millennials or whatever the case, I don't even think it's millennials collectively. Because some of these motherfuckers that are called millennials, y'all ain't. It's different. Never mind. Because it's levels of shit. But anywho, when it comes to that, a lot of us have been out of relation. Like a lot of us actually feel what love really is. We feel it from a power. That's why we just don't take relationships like that anymore. You feel me? We can't just hop back in and out of a relationship like that because it's like we got to get our shit back together. We got to realize what the fuck happened, where shit went on. And I'm like, when I see people just hopping in and out of relationships, you're looking for feeling. You're looking to feel good. You feel me? You're looking to feel good. I always ask women like, yo, how long have you been single? And how long was the relationship? Oh, we were together for about 3 years. I've been single for 6 months. Nope. I'm not rebounded. Oh, you're not a rebound. No, yes, I am. I'm a fucking rebound. Because what attracted you to me is everything that he was not given to you. You feel me? I'm not proud of it, but I've dealt with a married woman before. And when we talked, everything that she found in me was what he lacked. I said, damn, yo. And it was fucked up because I would go and tell her she needed to fix her marriage and shit. But I was young, okay? Damn. Sue me. But the point that I'm going through with that is that's like when you're built on a like She was married to a man based off of those 4 points: infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. And then it's like after a while, they're like, yo, the relationship got stale. We couldn't make it fresh. It was just like this and last because the tolerance is gone. You guys no longer appeal to each other in those ways. You're no longer infatuated. You no longer admire the motherfucker because you see him for, oh, I see that you ain't shit. You ain't really about that shit that you're doing. You're not really making the progress and shit like that you said you was going to do. You no longer desire him. The lust dies. The lust dies. You don't give a fuck no more. But at the same time, you can have kids involved, marriage, all of that shit, 10 years, 20 years in. And a motherfucker can fuck it up for one night because in one night, a motherfucker can tap into all 4 of these points at one time. And you'll throw all of that shit away. You feel me? Ain't no coming back from that. You feel what I'm saying? But it's a way to prevent going into it by knowing what love really is. And knowing that you're dealing with feelings when you're trying to connect with people. And as long as you don't have a personal identity and you're filtered, like that's why it's like when it comes to the women's aspect of it, we have fucked up this world with the misogynistic society and the patriarchal and all that shit to where a woman is now defined by a man. You feel me? Like she's validated by it. Like I don't even think motherfuckers really catch that. Like when you guys get married and shit, you take on his last name and your name becomes Mrs. MRS. Like that should be apostrophe there. But anyway, that's who you become. You feel me? So it's like everything now has to be within his realm. I become an extension of that. You feel me? And it's like I have to now create myself to a point where I can be tolerated. Think about it. This is biblical too. A man could marry a woman and you know, it's some crazy shit. A man can marry a woman. A woman can't divorce a man, but a man can divorce a woman, technically. But I'm speaking from a biblical perspective. So a woman cannot break up or leave a man except for anything for infidelity. Like literally that's what relationships, that's how you get out of it. Right? But what is infidelity when polygamy is involved? It ain't none. Like you stuck. Like there's ways around that shit. So this construct was based off of that. So women then create themselves to be tolerable. Think about the whole point. I love this. I love this part because a lot of women will talk about this, especially religious women. I know they're like, I want to be a Proverbs 31 woman. And they read it and it sounds so fucking good. It's just, I want a woman who could be tolerated. Read the shit from front to back and truly understand it. Don't read it for the feel good moment. Read it through your mind. Read it for understanding. That's why it starts off with what's his name? Rumiel? I can't think of the guy's name. But the verses start off with the boy's mother telling him that women will bring a king down. Women will bring a king down. So you get you a woman like this. So I want to be a Proverbs 31. Me personally, in reading that shit, I would rather have a woman that can bring a king down. I'm not saying I want a malicious woman. I'm not saying that that's a level of power that I need. You feel what I'm saying? That's a level of internal power, not submission, a level of internal power. But that is the thing that it is. So women say, I want to be a Proverbs 30. And they read the good parts of the shit. You feel me? Oh, yeah, you can make a house a home. You can do all of this, but you're tolerated. That's what the whole thing of it is. That's what submission is about, being tolerable. Y'all don't even catch that shit because it sounds so good. I'm going to be a submissive woman. Femininity is about something. No, it's not. You can't relinquish shit. It's supposed to stand independent of itself. It has no reason to submit to anything. But collectively, we have been so conditioned in intolerance, we have just put different euphemisms to the shit. So our relationships with women are based off the women that we can tolerate. You feel me? We can tolerate. This is in the same aspect that goes into the relationships like women get with an older man. That's encouraged because they try to teach you some crazy shit like when I don't know where this came from, but they were like, men don't mature as fast as women. That's some bullshit. I personally feel like this is, I mean, maybe I'm speaking for myself, but I personally feel like we mature at the same rate. You feel me? But we don't have to be accountable for maturity. Y'all do. We don't. So this is why it ultimately breaks down that men get with younger women. Because it's like, oh, shit, I never had to be on the mature level of the woman my age. So I can operate from the women down here. Okay. You feel me? I'll talk to this woman. She was like 2 or 3 years younger than me one time. And she was like, she talked to this dude who was like in his 30s at the time. You know, so I think I was 28 So that would have made her like 26, 25, or whatever the case may be. I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. She was already so far younger than me. I know 22 to 3 years ain't that much. However, when she's telling me that this dude was 30, he was like 32, 33 or some shit like that. And she was like, he told me I was mature for my age. No, he's immature for his, baby girl. He played you. That's what it is. I said, no, that's not a reality. You feel what I'm saying? But that is a point. We operate with women that we can tolerate. If our women our age, if they can't tolerate us, you feel me? If we can't tolerate them, we'll say she's too much. She needs to be submissive. She needs to, you see how I did that shit? But anyway, it was like, yo, she's too much. She got an attitude. She got this. I can't tolerate her. At the end of the day, that's what it is. I can't tolerate her. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm going to go get a woman that I can tolerate. I know a younger woman is going to be able to be tolerable because she'll be obedient because she's younger than me. Yo, this shit is crazy, but this shit is set up this way. What we deem as love is really tolerance. You feel what I'm saying? And it's operating from the sacral chakra energy. This is why our feelings get so fucked up when the shit is over. This is why people manipulate and exploit our feelings. Anybody that control, like we always talk about triggers. Like, yo, I was triggered by this. You said this, that, the third, and it pissed me off. It took me here. Pay attention, though. And we're very acknowledgeable about the negative triggers. But what about the positive ones? Anybody that can trigger the positive shit in you and make you feel so good, you have no control over yourself. Because I can dictate how I want you to feel when I want you to feel it. That's how narcissists work. Narcissists are motherfuckers who don't give a fuck no more, but they know, okay, I can fuck with feelings. So not only am I going to be on my best behavior from the jump, when I get ready to tap into it, I'm going to exploit the good fucking feelings and I'm going to make you feel bad for the bad ones. I'm going to make you feel like shit, but then I'm going to be the one to build you up off of the good feelings that I know I can control you with. This is why we need to teach how to be in a relationship outside of tolerance, but it comes within the family structure. So when we find in love, this is what we got to know. This is what we got to deal with. We got to stop tolerating each other. You feel me? We got to stop tolerating each other. That's why people be like, yo, what do you think the biggest causes of black love is hard? And black love is hard to come by because when you have self-hatred, when you have been conditioned, you have assimilated into a culture that told you to hate yourself. You want to disconnect from it from as much as you can. Then on top of that, you operate from loving at a tolerance. Your love is tolerance. Fuck that. I'm not going to tolerate what I hate. So that's why our relationships are what it is. And that's why it's hard to find love within ourselves. Tolerance. Learn to tolerate yourself. You feel me? And then we learn only to tap into the relationships and things from infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. You feel me? All because we don't have personal identity within ourselves. You dig what I'm saying? So that is that's pretty much I'm gonna end it there. That's pretty much finding love. And the search for what love isn't. Yeah, we need to really transform our relationships, and we also got to transform the energy within ourselves in order to successfully move forward. You feel me? That's the best way to go with it. So with that said, like I said, I hope I drop some gems as I always do, if I always drop them for you. And I hope that you were able to get some insight out of this shit. As always, if you aren't already, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_seen_. Follow the podcast at the Just Seen Podcast. Follow the merchandise page at Just Seen Merch. What else? If you're trying to transition into the plant-based lifestyle, follow the Hitting It Raw program, and be sure to get the ebook Hitting It Raw, Living a Raw Plant-Based Lifestyle for Life. And of course, get my two oldest children, So Frail, A Reality to Black Male Masculinity, and So Frail 2, Toxic Femininity, online wherever books are sold. And also, I do accept donations. I do accept tips, whatever the case may be. Everything is in the link. Everything is in the description of your podcast. So you just click the links and you do whatever it is that you do. So with that being said, when it comes to love, now, I'm going to say this and wrap it up. But don't look at your immediate relationships as, okay, this got to end or whatever the case may be. If that's the case, because I'm going to put a disclaimer out there, and the shit that I be talking about is not meant to fuck up relationships. It's not meant for you to break up with somebody and have fucked up confrontation skills and not being able to not have good conflict resolution. If I've spoken something that resonated with you when you ended a relationship with a person because of that, that's not my fucking fault. Don't you dare put that shit on me. All right? I'm not taking that shit. I will not wear that. I will not wear that. If whatever I said here applied to a relationship that you're currently in or you're dealing with, fix the motherfucker. Don't run away from it. Fix it. All right? Because that's not going to be on me. Because that person, you two very well could have been good together and you just had to get over that hump and you didn't really acknowledge what the hump was. And you just ended the shit because there's no personal identity. You just took what a motherfucker said and ran with the shit. Sorry, I was triggered. My bad. But whichever way you take this information and you run with it, it's not on me. All right? It's not on me. I'm not wearing that. So with that being said, find out if you have built relationships on that, just evolve them. You feel me? Learn about your chakra energies, learn about these different things and evolve them. And then if after the evolution, after you two have both reached the consistency of coming into things where you actually transition out of infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust, and you have started walking into love, you feel what I'm saying? Because as I said, when you're operating from that sacral energy, it's going to put you in a relationship where you have to see past this person's flaws. But when you're operating from love, you can't see that. That person has no flaws. You'll catch that eventually. You feel me? And if you get to that point, and then at that point, you don't have flaws to me. But at the same time, we just can't beat it. Then you make that decision. But don't do no knee-jerk shit and then put that shit on me. All right. So with that said, I'll see y'all when I see y'all, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.